I'm already recording, so that's fine.
Yes, you are.
Figured I'd see if I can get some blooper stuff this week too. Welcome everybody to Films and Fermentation, episode 52. Tonight we are talking about films that time has forgotten. I was originally going to call this movies from our youth or forgotten films of our youth, but I didn't want it to sound like we were only talking about kids' films. This could be any sort of movie that we saw when we were younger, but has seemingly been forgotten to time. And we're just kind of like re-exploring those films, in other words. So in this episode, we're going to be discussing movies that were forgotten to time, films that we remember from our youth that we look back on fondly. We'll talk about what made us love these movies so much and whether they have stood the test of time and whether they should be revived or buried again. So thank you for joining us tonight as we talk shit while getting shit-faced. I'm Leo.
I'm Kevin.
I'm Mike.
And don't forget to email us at filmsandfermentation@gmail.com. Visit us on Instagram at filmsandfermentation, facebook.com/filmsandfermentation, and all those other good sites. Michael, you want to try out your new trick tonight?
This day in film history. In 2018, superhero movie The Black Panther becomes the fifth Marvel movie to earn $1 billion worldwide.
$1 billion.
$1 billion.
I shall call it the Alan Parsons Project. Not only is it the fifth Marvel film to earn $1 billion, it's only the second superhero genre film to be nominated for a Best Picture Oscar after The Dark Knight. And rightly so. It was a really good movie.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking forward to the sequel because I'm curious to see what they're going to do now that Chadwick Boseman has passed away. Yeah. I know it's called Wakanda Forever, and I think they're possibly going to be like introducing the new Black Panther, which might be Shuri.
Shuri.
Yeah. I don't know. They haven't really said much about it yet. They're keeping it pretty close to the chest there because a lot riding on it, I guess, without Chadwick Boseman in it.
Mm-hmm.
The Black Panther. What is your fun drink fact?
My fun drink fact: Amsterdam. The government gives alcoholic people incentives. The alcoholic locals of Amsterdam earn a beer by cleaning the streets. For a whole day of work, the government gives them 5 cans of beer, cigarettes, and 11 euros. The Amsterdam government used this plan so that even an alcoholic person can be productive and help the country in little ways.
Wow.
Boy, Amsterdam, that is one progressive country, man.
Yeah.
Tell me about it.
Legalized marijuana for like decades now and low crime rate.
I don't think they have medical benefits for that particular job. I can't see that, them shelling it out.
No dental either.
Cigarettes and alcohol.
If you're an alcoholic, you're probably not worried about your medical benefits really anyway. You're just looking for your 5 cans of beer, your pack of cigarettes, and your 11 euros.
Buy your weed.
Yeah, there you go. Your 11 euros gets you into the weed bars. So even alcoholic people can be productive.
Yep,
that's great. Amsterdam, just another reason why they're so much far ahead of us. So last show we talked about fictional presidents. And I thought it was a better show than I expected it to be. I wasn't sure like if it would be that good coming off of the coattails of the 50th episode, which I thought was our best so far. But it turned out pretty good, especially our Tim Burton, our Martin Scorsese, Robert De Niro, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory segment, which is right now like my favorite segment of all our shows at this point. But I just recently finished binging The Boys Diabolical. It's an animated spin-off series on Amazon Prime, spinning off from The Boys TV series. It's 7 or 8 episodes, very, very short. They're all like 13 to 15 minutes each. And each episode is animated by a different animator and written by a different person. So
kind of like the Animatrix?
Kind of like the Animatrix. So you get all different like perspectives on it. Different people wrote different stories. The animation changes from episode to episode. You have one that looks kind of like Disney-ish. And then you have one that's sort of like, Adult Swim, and then another one that's kind of like anime. So it was actually really, really good. And there's only a couple appearances by the main like superhero characters or by the boys themselves.
Voiced by the original actors or no?
In most cases, like the superheroes are all voiced by the same people. Billy Butcher is definitely not voiced by Carl Urban. I don't know who does his voice in the show. And when Dewey appears in it, he's got a Scottish accent. It's not the character that Jack Quaid plays in the TV show. It's the one from the comic book who looks like Simon Pegg.
Oh, okay.
So it's like a little bit more like the comic book than the TV show. The first couple episodes are really good. There was an episode written by Aquafina that was total shit, and I mean that, in that the character's superpower is that she can control shit.
Oh.
It is probably the worst episode of the bunch.
It's shitty.
Yeah, but for the most part, they were pretty good. Pretty interesting takes on the mythology.
What was the name of the the shit monster in Dogma?
The Golgothan.
Golgotha, yeah.
The Golgothan, because he's from the Mount of Golgotha. Made up of the shit of crucified people.
Yep.
They defeat him with the aerosol cans or something. With the
no, they blessed the did they bless the golf club?
Did they what?
Did they hit it with a blessed golf club?
No, that was the demon guy. That was
the demon.
Yeah, Azrael. He gets killed with the golf club.
Jason Lee, yeah.
Jason Lee. The Golgotha monster, Silent Bob defeats him with deodorant spray.
That's right.
And she asks him, "Why are you carrying that around with you?" And as soon as she asks that, Jay farts and he sprays him. Dogma. Talk about a movie that kind of got lost to time. Kevin Smith's Dogma. I saw
that in the theaters.
I saw that in the theaters too. I saw recently Kevin Smith was posting on Facebook. They just finished filming Clerks 3.
Oh, nice.
And it's kind of like he's telling his life story through the eyes of the clerks. Because Kevin Smith had a heart attack a few years ago and basically almost died from it. And had to like change his lifestyle and all that. So the Clerks 3 is Randall has a heart attack and decides he wants to make a movie about his life, starting from his time working at the Quick Stop.
Oh.
and pulls the other guys in to help him like film the movie.
Interesting.
And they had a picture. It was funny. They had a picture of the cast, and it was Randall and Dante, the guy from Clerks 2 who was like the kid that worked at movies with him, who's like 3 times the size he was in that movie now, and Rosario Dawson, right? Dante looks like my dad. Randall looks like a pile of shit. The kid's like, in his 40s now and like 900 pounds. And then Rosario Dawson looks younger than she did in Clerks 2. I guess that's all that training for Ahsoka Tano. So I also just recently saw the trailer for Obi-Wan Kenobi, the series on Disney Plus. I'm jazzed about it because Ewan McGregor looks great in it. He looks kind of like how I expected Obi-Wan to look at this point in time, like
he's kind of filling that Alec Guinness, appearance,
Yeah, and that's what I was gonna say is like he has the look like between where he was in the prequels to what Alec Guinness looked like in A New Hope, and he's kind of like in that in-between phase. So he looks pretty good. But here's some facts about the show so far. It's set 10 years after the events of Revenge of the Sith. It's a limited series, so it's probably only going to be the one season, and it's 6 episodes long. It's premiering on May 25th. They use the same visual effects that they did for The Mandalorian, which is it's called stagecraft. So they have like actual physical sets with blue screens built into the sets that project rudimentary special effects on them so that the actors can see what they're going to be interacting with.
Oh, that's got to make it easier for them.
When they put the real special effects in. It's something they started using with The Mandalorian. Anakin is going to be in it.
Yep.
and it'll be played again by Hayden Christensen, who's going to be appearing both as Darth Vader and as Anakin. So I'm assuming they're going to do some like flashbacks like they did with Boba Fett. There's going to be a new fight between Obi-Wan and Vader. Okay. Joel Egerton will also be in it, playing Owen Lars, Luke's uncle, and the same actress will be playing Aunt Beru. I know from the trailer I saw that you're going to see a very young Luke. Like
I remember seeing him.
Yeah. So it's 10 years after Sith, so it's going to be like 10-year-old Luke, kind of playing on the farm. John Williams, who we talked about recently about how he's still doing it, composed the score for this series. God bless the man.
Yep.
This is 37 years since the last time he scored a TV series.
Oh wow.
Yeah. They're going to have some other characters in it, like Indira Varma, who was from the storyline mode in Battlefront 2.
Okay.
She's going to be one of the Imperial officers in it.
Nice.
There's going to be some new characters. There's going to be a appearance by the Inquisitors. I think they are
I was going to ask. Get Mike's. I mean, because I know you didn't watch much of the animated. Were they a Rebels character or were they a
Rebels
Clone
character?
Wars?
Yeah.
Okay, I was trying to remember. I watched them both, but I wasn't quite sure whether the Inquisitors made it in the Clone Wars or whether they were just Rebels.
Just Rebels, because you didn't need Inquisitors in the Clone War because they were still
right.
So that one Inquisitor guy that has the lightsaber that spins around in the circle.
All of them do, yeah.
Yeah, he's definitely in it because they showed him in the trailer.
And
they showed him with the
Grand
spinning.
Inquisitor, the white bald guy.
Yeah, the white bald guy.
Yeah, that's the Grand Inquisitor.
Yeah, so he's in it, and Jimmy Smits will be in it as Bail Organa again. There'll also be a 10-year-old Leia. Vader and Obi-Wan are going to have more than one fight during the season, which is cool. And there will be a flashback to Order 66 that's going to fill in some of the blanks from that event.
Cool.
So, I mean, it's a lot of it's a lot of stuff that they revealed already before the show even came out, which is cool. But it's all stuff that's got me really excited to see it. So, you guys,
2 more months, guys. 2 more months.
2 more months. May 25th.
Yep.
Kevin, you saw the Batman yesterday?
I did. So good.
Where would you rank
geeked out.
Where would you rank it with like the Dark Knight and all those?
Look, I got a special place in my heart. You guys know Christopher Nolan's one of the directors I really appreciate. And I think his work with the 3 Batman movies was phenomenal. If I could like take that one and add it to like that as like a 4th, even though it wasn't him directing, it was Matt Reeves, and even though it wasn't Christian Bale, I kind of want to put it into that how much I really enjoyed it. It was a new take on it, which it was more adult. Even though Christopher Nolan's was really adult, this was really adult. This was I don't think I'm giving anything away by saying this is a detective story. And Matt Reeves has said that he wanted it to be very detective, very noir, and he brings that out in spades. He really does a very good job.
It's also based on Batman Year 2.
Yeah.
So they took a lot from. Yeah, he's still trying to like figure out who he is as the Batman. So he's kind of a little more angry than he is,
Yeah. He brings that out, and they tinkered with or pulled things from. Is it Earth One? I want to say Batman Earth One.
It's one of those things, yeah.
Yep. There was the long Halloween.
Long Halloween was the one that has
Halloween was pulled.
Where like Arkham Asylum breaks open and everybody.
Yeah. So it's good. It was so good. I really enjoyed it. My wife got us the tickets, and she got us tickets with not just the recliners, which are plush anyway, but rumble seats. And look, I'll tell you, when seeing the costume for Patterson's Batman, I was like, but it works. It works with what. But when I saw the car, I was like, and this thing's badass. This thing, it's a muscle car that you can tell this guy he tricked it out. And it's like somebody pulled a muscle car and tricked it out. That's all. It's not refined at all. Well, it's gritty.
Neither is Batman at this point.
Right. It's really gritty. But it was great to hear and then your whole seat starts to shake. and you're watching the headlights come on. I was like, oh,
I heard
it was awesome.
Colin Farrell kind of steals it a little bit.
He does steal a little. His portrayal of Penguin was awesome, and this is kind of the beginning of Penguin too. This is not like an established villain. This is like his beginning as well.
He's still kind of working for Falcone.
Yes. Yeah. He does a great job. I read somewhere, you guys, I mean, we all do it. We all go into IMDb to look up some of the facts after the fact. And he had said after he had the prosthetics and everything added, he went out to a store just to order something. Nobody recognized him, and he got like some really nasty glares because of his how he looked. So
how about Paul Dano as the Riddler?
He did a great job. He did a really remarkable job. Scary when, scary. It was scary in his portrayal, and eventually you see Paul Dano for Paul Dano, and it's like, wow, he transforms as much as anybody else does.
Nice. Looking forward to seeing it. If I can't get to the theater, hopefully I can, find it online somewhere. It's not streaming.
Hey, look, what I'm saying, guys, if you want to see it again, and you don't really have to twist my arm, you have to be okay with me wearing my Batman shirt, Batman hat, and Batman sneakers.
As long as
How
you're
about
not
your Batman underwear.
I was going to say, as long as you're not showing your underoos to anybody.
I'm not making promises. Batman wore his underwear on the outside too.
As well did Superman.
That's right.
It's a staple of DC Comics. So I added a little thing this week because I thought it'd be kind of fun. One of my favorite websites to go to is a website called Ranker. And it's all like funny lists and trivia and shit like that. But I had one recently that I read that I thought was really funny. They asked the fans of the site to create fake trivia for their favorite movies. So all of this is trivia for the movies, but none of the trivia is true.
Okay.
So, for example, my favorite one, and the one that's probably the best one on the list, before starring in Star Wars: A New Hope, Mark Hamill had never seen a Star Wars movie before.
That is true. That's not fake.
True.
That's true.
Oh, that's true.
This is probably that was the best one. This is my personal favorite here for The Never-Ending Story. In the film The Never-Ending Story from 1984, if you watch closely, it actually does end at around an hour and 45 minutes.
Which is still true trivia.
In the movie Us from 2019, it does not actually have you and me in it, which makes it a little misleading. Yeah, these are all true facts, even though they're fake. They're kind of true.
Yeah.
In The Dark Knight from 2008, Heath Ledger accidentally blows up a hospital. Nolan then wrote the scene into the movie so that the police wouldn't investigate any further. In the film The Human Centipede, there are 37 minutes of complete silence. This was done so that the audience could have 37 minutes to think to themselves, what the fuck am I watching?
Damn.
Oh, man.
To prepare for his role in The Irishman, Robert De Niro spent 76 years applying old man makeup.
Less than what he did for Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory.
Yeah, I know. In the 2013 version of The Great Gatsby, there's some anachronistic elements. For example, Tobey Maguire and Leonardo DiCaprio were not alive in the 1920s. This one's kind of wrong, but kind of funny. Did you ever notice that in the Suicide Squad from 2016, Jeffrey Epstein isn't part of the group? In Terminator 2, Robert Patrick improvises the moment where the T-1000 walks through the bars in the jail cell. The door was supposed to open, but the actor surprised the cast and crew by melting his own body in the liquid and walking through it. Let me see here. There's some stupid ones, but there's a very good one here. In the trailer for the Black Widow, you can see Natasha jumping without a parachute, which is a reference to the last movie she appeared in which she did the same. And then there's a picture of her laying at the bottom of the pit in Endgame.
Yeah.
That's so wrong.
It's so wrong, but it's so funny. In Jurassic Park, dinosaurs existed since they were present on the set. However, by the time Jurassic World was released, they had become extinct, so they started using motion capture instead. And the last one. Actually, I think I got a couple more here. No, this is the last one. It's like the last good one, so I'm going to read this one here. In Back to the Future, Doc Brown says, "Where we're going, we don't need roads. That is because he is a libertarian and does not believe that taxation is theft."
Boy.
I thought that'd be a fun little segment there. Fake trivia, thanks to ranker.com. So, gentlemen, let's talk about something important here. What you drinking?
Good question.
Well, I themed my drink
All
for
right.
my movie.
I'm happy you did, because I didn't do that with mine.
So tonight I am drinking from Devil's Backbone, Loved by the Sun.
Loved by the Sun.
That's the peach mango beer.
Okay. I don't know what your movie is yet. I'm gonna wait to find out, and then you can kind of fill us in on the connection there.
It'll be
I kind
quite
of thought in a way that now that you're saying it, mine kind of has a connection to my movie as well, and I'll save it for when I talk about it. But I am drinking the maple oatmeal Vienna lager that you drank last week.
Ah,
You gave me those samples to try, and I'm like, I am going to try these samples tonight. And this one is very good. This is very tasty. The maple, I did not think lager could hold the maple oatmeal flavor, but it really holds it very well.
I can't wait to try mine.
Done this. I need to go grab another one.
I can't wait to try mine. I am also following the theme of Mike beers. I am enjoying a gift from Michael. It's an El Segundo. Segundo, did I pronounce that correct?
Yes, El Segundo
Brewing Company. It's Steve Austin's Broken Skull IPA. So I'm unfamiliar with Steve Austin. I believe he was an accountant at one point.
What?
And this was, huh?
what?
That was his catchphrase.
This is Steve Austin's Broken Skulls IPA. It says here, Broken Skulls India Pale Ale, badass 6.7% IPA designed by Steve Austin and El Segundo's Brewing Company for the working man and woman. It features Citra, Cascade, and Chinook hops to deliver big flavor with an easy finish. Now stop reading and start enjoying this awesome. Fuck, okay, dude. Told me to.
It's pretty good. It's kind of for an IPA, it's not like super bitter. It's kind of reminiscent to me of like Kensinger.
Okay.
Yeah, which is a less bitter IPA.
Yeah, not very hoppy either.
No, it's not very hoppy. Smoother.
Yeah, so Steve Austin, as an accountant, his slogan was, "If you want me to file your taxes, give me a hell yeah."
Oh yeah.
Austin 316 says, "I just filed your taxes."
Austin 316 says, "I just got you a refund." So yeah, we're all doing the Mike sampler this evening.
That's not a bad idea. Each of us kind of giving you know, and being like, okay, so here you go. These are beers I chose, and you guys try them.
Yeah,
you know,
I'm all for that.
Yeah, I like that idea.
We do have the special beer episode coming up April 7th.
That should be a good time.
Brewing some Quaker Rage.
I have my brew kit. I have yet to give it a shot. I could make you know.
I hear you. So before we what I miss?
I was playing with my pitch.
Playing with your pitch.
Yes, I was. Yeah, now that baseball's back on, he wanted to play with his pitch.
Yes. Yes, I was playing with my pitch.
We are back. Films and Fermentation, episode 52, Films That Time Forgot. For our listeners out there, we just took a little break because we had to replenish our beer supply for the main segment. So I had just finished my maple oatmeal Vienna lager. I am now drinking the coffee Vienna lager. And I find this one just as enjoyable as the first one.
Well, I'm glad you enjoyed it.
I literally just cracked this open when you guys asked me about it, so I'm not done it yet.
Yeah, I hear you. Yep, so I needed some beer tonight.
Yeah,
I needed a drink. I was a little aggravated. Anyway, our main segment this evening is Films That Time Forgot. Each of us has chosen a film that we remember fondly from our youth. Not necessarily a kid's film, but just a film that we saw when we were younger that we haven't really, heard much from in recent years. Excuse me. And we decided that we were each going to discuss a film without telling each other about it so that we can kind of surprise each other with the films that we chose. Hopefully none of us chose the same film because I forgot to put some backups on this list. I just went with the first one that popped in my head.
Well, I didn't watch my backup, so damn.
Well, I have a backup in mind. I didn't watch it, but I've watched it enough that I could talk about it if I have to. But I doubt anybody has mine. I really do.
I very seriously doubt
it's rad.
It's rad. Since this was my idea in the first place, I think I'm going to go first. If that's okay with you, gentlemen.
I guess if you feel you must.
My film is a PG-rated film. It actually is a kid's film, even though I said it doesn't necessarily have to be like a kid's film. I chose a kid's film because I remember watching this film for the first time. I was homesick from school for whatever reason, and a buddy of mine came over my house to bring me my homework, and he hung out with me for a little bit. He and I ended up watching this movie together that I had never heard of until that day. And I remember watching it as a kid and watching it a few times and thinking, like, I really like this movie because I love the stuff that's happening in it. And then I rewatched it again a few days ago because it oddly enough was on Amazon Prime. And after watching this, I thought, what the fuck did I like about this movie? This movie's kind of trash. The film is called Explorers.
I love that movie. I mean, no, okay.
You loved it back then.
I loved it back then, and I have watched it recently because Megan had never seen it. So you go ahead, you talk, and I'll try and.
They were just like everyone else. They dreamed of going to the stars. But unlike everyone else,
what's going on here?
They discovered a way to get there.
You dreamt it, I built it, and it's our secret. It's pretty neat, huh?
Then they took it one step further.
I christened thee the Thunder Road.
And it worked.
Look how fast we're going. I bet we could go anywhere. Do you realize what it means?
Now, they're about to find out just how far it can go.
Let's face it, somebody's calling us.
Let's go.
All around the world.
Did you see what I saw?
Roll is the only place.
They're here.
All around the world. Rock and roll is the only place. And you can hear those jukebox jumping all night and all through the day.
Explorers.
We come in peace.
The adventure begins in your own backyard.
Later, but yeah.
Sounds good. So the movie is called Explorers. It came out in 1985. It was directed by Joe Dante. Joe Dante is one of those directors where you might not know his name, but you've definitely seen at least one of his movies because aside from Explorers, which was his first major directorial credit, he also directed Gremlins 1 and 2. He directed The Burbs, Inner Space, The Howling, Small Soldiers, and most recently 10 episodes of the reboot of Hawaii Five-0. So he is a guy whose stuff you probably have seen even if you didn't know his name. The movie stars Ethan Hawke, River Phoenix, Amanda Peterson, Jason Presson, James Cromwell, and Robert Picardo. All very early in their careers. In fact, for River Phoenix and Ethan Hawke, this was their first major film debut. Both of them had done like some like TV work and some like TV films, but this is their first feature release. Robert Picardo would go on to play the hologram doctor on Star Trek Voyager.
Yep.
Yeah.
James Cromwell would go on to a very long career, including a turn in Star Trek.
Several turns in Star Trek.
He was playing Zephyr Cochrane.
Yep.
He was also the farmer in Babe. And the other two actors that were main actors in the film, Amanda Peterson plays like the love interest of Ethan Hawke. She unfortunately passed away at 43 years old from a morphine overdose. And Jason Presson did a few movies after this one and then kind of faded into obscurity. So really the biggest stars out of the film were Ethan Hawke and River Phoenix. But here is the here's the full synopsis, and then I'll give you the IMDb one, which is of course very ridiculous. But the full synopsis is that this is a space adventure starring Ethan Hawke and River Phoenix as misfit best friends who dream of space travel. Their dream becomes a reality when they create an interplanetary spacecraft in their homemade laboratory. Ben Crandall, who is played by Ethan Hawke, is a young visionary who has a dream of space travel while watching late-night B monster films, poring over comic books, and playing Galaga in the confines of his bedroom. One night, he has a vivid dream of flying over a space-like circuit board, shares his vision with his best friend, Wolfgang Mueller, played by River Phoenix, who is a young scientific genius. Together, they're able to translate the dreams into a complex computer program that actually works. With the help of their friend Darren, they create a homemade spacecraft from things that they find in a junkyard and embark on an adventure to another galaxy where they meet up with a couple of alien children who their whole knowledge of Earth comes from the movies that they watch for stealing Earth's radio signals.
Yes.
And
but you don't know that they're children when they first meet them.
You don't know they're children when they first meet them because they're aliens, but then you meet the father. The father comes in yelling at them and shit. It is, when I watched it as a kid, I was like, yeah, this is awesome. I would love to be able to build a spaceship and go meet some aliens. And then I watched it recently and I was like, man, the alien costumes are terrible. And it is like, you know, I mean, the kids are all really good actors because it's River Phoenix and Hawke and all that. It's one of those 80s kids films, though, where they're allowed to say shit, hell, and piss a lot. But here's your synopsis from IMDb. A boy obsessed with 50 sci-fi movies about aliens has a recurring dream about a blueprint of some kind. He draws it for his inventor friend. With the help of a third kid, they follow it and build a spaceship.
Hi there, third kid.
Hi there, third kid. The third kid is actually a kid they meet at school who like protects them from these bullies that are always bothering them.
As is to do in the 80s.
As it's very 80s follow-up. So here's some little trivia about the film. There's a scene where a helicopter pilot is reading a newspaper, and one of the headlines reads, "Kingston Falls riot still unexplained." Kingston Falls is the town where the events of Gremlins takes place. So it's kind of a little like in-universe joke. As the boys are going through the junkyard looking for pieces of their ship, they find a sled with the word Rosebud written across it. Rosebud, of course, is the sled from Citizen Kane.
Yep.
Citizen Kane, this movie is not. Robert Picardo actually plays 3 roles in the film. He is the voice of one of the alien characters. He is the voice of the alien's father character. And he plays a hero in a Star Wars ripoff film that the kids are watching in a drive-in in the beginning of the movie. He said it's the most uncomfortable makeup he's ever had to wear for a film. It was so uncomfortable that when they would take the costume off of him at the end of the day, he would have open lesions on his head.
Yikes.
You know, you're talking about this was not done by like, you know, Rick Baker or anybody like, you know, or like Rob Bottin or anybody like that who knew how to do special effects. This was like really, really subpar.
This is a trade school kid.
Yeah, this was the intern who worked for those guys.
This is a freshman in a trade school who hasn't quite got it yet. He's getting there though.
River Phoenix, who grew up in communes in South America. His parents were actually part of like a cult when he was growing up. Was very unfamiliar with most American pop culture and slang words at the time, and people would laugh at him during scripted scenes where he had to say popular slang words and often mispronounce them. According to Joe Dante, the original cut of the movie was 3 hours and 15 minutes long. I can't imagine. Wow. This movie was only like an hour and 40 minutes, and it felt like 8 hours of my life.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, there's the movie that they see at the beginning of the film that's like a Star Wars ripoff. The movie is called The Adventures of Star Killer, which was the original name for Luke Skywalker in the original scripts. His name was Luke Star Killer.
I remember that.
Yeah. So I mean, a little like a bunch of throwbacks to things like that. His name is Wolfgang. River Phoenix's name. The father and mother are German. Speak with very bad German accents. His father is James Cromwell in the film. Yeah, and that's about it. There wasn't like too much other like really good stuff in here, but the big thing about this film is that it was the debut of River Phoenix and Ethan Hawke.
I noticed something. You had said that the director also did Inner Space, right?
Yes.
Which also starred the Doctor from Voyager,
Robert Picardo.
I wonder if there are other films that, like, you know how each director kind of finds the actors that they enjoy working with, and they'll find roles for them.
Yeah, it's funny.
I wonder if there are others.
The role he plays in Inner Space is similar to this movie in that it's like a small role. He's the character that
the cowboy.
Yeah, he like changes Martin Short's face into to look like the guy. Yeah, that's him. And like he's got pretty much a small role in this film too. So yeah, that was my film, Explorers from 1985. I was pretty certain that neither of you would have had that one. So I was happy.
I had thought about it, but now I'm glad that I didn't choose that one.
No.
I thought it was just obscure enough to be a good choice for the first time we do this.
So I take it you're thinking it does not stand the test of time? Does not stand up?
Yeah, like I remember watching it as a kid thinking this is shit. And then I watched it recently and I was like, this is shit.
Oh, I thought it was fun. I like the idea that they could take a tilt-a-whirl, and use that as their vessel.
I'll tell you what,
the way that they build it up with like the TV and the TV as the window and
I enjoyed it up until they met the aliens.
Okay.
That's like kind of where it fell apart for me.
Yeah.
Because the costumes were so ridiculous, and the fact that the one alien spoke in nothing but TV quotes.
Yeah, and it's almost sexually explicit the way the one alien is just like all over the other ones.
The female alien was the sister alien was like flirting with River Phoenix the whole time.
Yeah,
and I'm like, isn't there something like that's like kind of like interspecies right there? Like
Mike, do you want to go next, or would you mind if I go next, or
either way?
Okay. Well, you know what? I'm going to stick with. I'm going to piggyback, I guess, on Leo's with a movie that I remember watching. It's indirectly related to the one that Leo's watching. Actually, it's got quite a few similarities now that I'm thinking about it. Produced or put out by ABC Movies in 1986, starring Kate Capshaw. I'm going to see if you guys can get it by the actors and actresses. Kate Capshaw.
Okay, Kate Capshaw was in Temple of Doom.
Leah Thompson.
Kate Capshaw.
Kelly Preston. Tate Donovan. Jesus. And the name he went by back then, Leaf Phoenix.
So it's Joaquin Phoenix in the film.
Yeah.
So Leaf
Tate
Phoenix,
Donovan. Kelly Preston, Leah Thompson, Kate Capshaw, and I'll give you one more, Tom Skerritt.
Oh my God.
1986.
Wow.
I really feel like I know what this is.
I feel like you should.
I feel like I know what this is because 1986, Leah Thompson is coming off of Back to the Future. It's like post Back to the Future, pre Howard the Duck.
Yes.
And then Capshaw is coming off of Temple of Doom. Tate
Donovan's still pretty much,
he's like a young actor.
Yeah.
Leaf
Phoenix is like 7.
I mean, he's a
8,
kid,
or he's like 12 actually, but yeah.
And Tom Skerritt. My God.
And I remember watching this movie and thought, I want to do that.
Space Camp.
Yep, that's it. You got it.
Wow.
Space Camp. Yeah, I was like,
Atlantis, do you copy?
This is Atlantis. Radio check satisfactory. Over.
Space Camp. Rubber ticket, purple ticket. America's real training ground for future astronauts.
I'm going to be the first female shuttle commander.
Catherine, you're not a passenger, you're a pilot. Fly it.
Do you want space camp?
My father wants space camp, but I want my head examined. Please return your seats and tray tables to their full upright position.
Remember everything I read. It's a real drag sometimes. What'd you get on your SATs? 800s.
And what is your name?
Rudy Tyler, ma'am.
Spit it out, Rudy.
Rudy Tyler, ma'am!
The green one right next to the red.
At 0900 Thursday, we're going to test fire the engines, and some of you will be able to sit in this.
To Catherine.
Stand by for main engine test.
She's all yours.
4,
3, 2.
Go for main engine test. We have main engine test.
We have overheat on Booster B.
What does that mean?
We can't stop it. Booster B is near ignition. It's gonna light. Get that thing operational.
Go for launch. Now!
We're not authorized. Light it or they're gonna die.
What's happening?
Do it now. Light it. An impossible mistake launched them into space. The adventure of their lives will be getting back home. Space Camp.
struggling with that, man. But I had a feeling I knew what it was. Tom Skerritt plays like the astronaut who trains him, doesn't he?
He is one of the astronauts. Kate Cattrall is the actual captain, I guess, of their team.
Like the
they go right. Tom Skerritt's more mission control, but they these kids go to space camp to experience space camp, and the whole thing of you are assigned a role as captain or navigator, communications or whatever, and the youngest kid, who is Joaquin Phoenix, is pretty much picked on, bullied, as they're meant to do in 80s movies. We have to take a tally as to how many 80s movies involved bullying.
I would go as far as to say it follows into the 90s.
Yes.
Early 90s films. And any film written by Stephen King has to have a bully in it as well. So, it's kind of there's a lot of movies out there.
So the bullied, I mean, he's young and he's a kid, whereas these other people contributing are like older teenagers. He befriends, also, as is to happen in the 80s, a robot, which just kind of appears out of nowhere, named Jinx. And Jinx is this space camp robot that is friendly and helps and does all these things. And he befriends the robot and he's really upset. And he goes, I want to get off of this planet. I'm so tired. And Jinx talks to the computer systems at NASA that is helping, because the final thing at space camp is you get to board a shuttle with almost a simulation of a takeoff, right? So they start the engines and everything rumbles and everybody gets to kind of like feel the experience of being in a shuttle. And the robot decides, I can get my friend Max off of the planet if I can just put fuel into the engines and have it actually take off, which happens, and then they go into space. They have to complete, because if they don't, the shuttle will burn up on the platform. So they take the shuttle. The shuttle takes off, and the kid, the captain, Kate Capshaw's character is injured, so she can't really be a part of helping them to come back. So these kids need to pull together as a team, which they haven't been able to do this entire time.
Another staple.
Pull together as a team.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's
pull together as a team. Have confidence in themselves. All the stuff that they were screwing up in space camp, they really need to be able to do now, to be able to get the shuttle back home and safe. And yeah, it was one of those movies like, oh man, I still want to go to space camp. It looks like so much fun.
I like the reboot that Clint Eastwood did, where he rewrote it as a bunch of old guys instead of kids. Yeah, that's a good one, man. Space camp. I'm like, I'm listening. You know, the cast that you gave me was a really good clue, and I'm like really struck because I'm like, I know this fucking movie. And then the minute you said
all 80s,
the minute you said it's something I really wanted to do, I was like, Space Camp, because it was like I wanted to do it too.
Yes, exactly.
One of Adrian's favorites.
I know. I was going to say that's one of Adrian's favorites. I think it's something we all wanted to do as kids.
Yeah.
To do space, and of course they end up in space at some point because you know.
Oh, absolutely. That has to happen. It happened in the movie. It must happen. We will absolutely be in space.
Absolutely be in space.
I could not tell you much about the director Harry Weiner. I'm going to say Weiner. It could be Weiner, but it looks like Harry Weiner. He did do some episodes of. He's directed episodes of Alias. Okay. He did. Oh God. Veronica Mars. He's directed a couple episodes. He really kind of got on board with the CW or the WB or whatever it was, because there's a Dawson's Creek episode. There's a Gilmore Girls episode, Felicity. You know, he's kind of done Party of Five. He kind of got into, I guess, the 90s dramas of the time. So he really doesn't have too much in terms of movie credits. Fun facts about this. Wow,
you missed. I'm looking at the cast now. You missed one important person. Larry B. Scott as Rudy, best known as Lamar, the gay one from Revenge of the Nerds.
Yeah.
The gay nerd. The very
they didn't pursue that one.
Gay nerd.
I thought you were going to say Terry O'Quinn, because
I thought about it because he was in Lost. You know.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, I'm looking at Harry Weiner now.
He doesn't have much, does he?
Legend of Bigfoot, 1975. The Bible, that's his last one in 2020.
Just one episode.
He did an episode of Jeremiah. Yeah, there's a lot of TV shows.
Yeah. One interesting and not necessarily a fun fact, but an interesting fact was that this was supposed to be released in January of '86, which shortly before that happened. I'm sorry, it was supposed to be released in early 1986, but in January of that year, January 28th, the Challenger exploded on takeoff. Right. You know, and they're like, oh, should not do this. Put the kibosh on putting this out there because it's the wound's still too sore, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So it kind of flopped because of it, you know, because they had to push it back and the marketing was like hushed. So, you know, that was interesting. Joaquin changed his name. Well, he later changed it to Joaquin. I guess it was Leaf prior to that. And let's see, movie was partially filmed in U.S. Space and Rocket Center in Huntsville, Alabama. Home to the first and last remaining space camp program. I didn't know that they had multiple locations. I thought there was one in Florida, which I think is where this one took place. And the other thing I wanted to mention was that the set, the space shuttle set, was actually put on top of a what's it called, a gimbal, for the scenes that required flight weightlessness.
It's similar, I think, to like how they used to do like the scenes in Star Trek where they made it look like everybody was kind of like flopping around when they getting like tossed around. I'm looking here. There's a space camp movie that came out in 2018.
Really? They rebooted it? They remade it?
It's not a remake. It's a totally different plot, but the film is still called Space Camp. It must have been like a independent film or like a straight to video or something, because I've never heard of it.
Yeah.
About three best friends who hit the road in a family station wagon to fulfill their fantasy of going to space camp after losing their jobs. Sounds like a midlife crisis road trip movie. Although there is a space camp reboot in development.
Oh wow.
Of course, you know.
Yep. You got to take all of our childhood dreams
and destroy them.
And yeah.
Although I did enjoy the remake of West Side Story. It was pretty good.
Oh no, I saw that show. I thought it was fantastic.
I guess it's not too long before they reboot Explorers as well.
No. And I'm looking at the list of you might also like, and I'm like, yep.
Yeah, I'm looking at
when
that
we
too.
do the next one, I'm like, yep.
There's
I
a
got
couple.
my ones
There's
for
a
the
couple on
next
my
one.
list. So, Mike, what do you got on yours?
I've got the 1986 Harold Ramis directed classic.
1986.
Stripes?
Harold Ramis. 1986. He said Stripes. It's not Stripes. That was Ivan Reitman.
Oh, okay.
Who stars in it?
It stars Robin Williams,
Okay.
Rick Moranis,
Okay.
Eugene Levy,
Okay.
Joanne Cassidy, Twiggy, and Peter O'Toole.
Wow.
Also, Brian Doyle Murphy.
Directed by Rick.
Can't be
Harold
Popeye.
Ramis. No, that was Shelley Duvall. Was in Popeye.
Right.
It was Robin Williams, Rick Moranis, and Eugene Levy were in a film together.
Eugene Levy,
Wow.
Twiggy, Joanne Cassidy.
If you led with Twiggy,
Peter
I would have
O'Toole.
said Blues Brothers. Oh my God. Not the world according to Garp.
No.
Is it the one where Robin Williams is from Russia?
Nope.
The Fisher King.
Yeah.
No.
That was Terry Gilliam. Yeah, I'm like stumped on this one, man. God damn.
Yeah.
That's a
I
tough
stumped
one.
Lee.
Yeah,
Yes.
you stumped me.
Are you ready for
I'm
it?
trying to think of what movie he was in with those guys from 1986.
PG-13 was the rating.
Is it animated?
No.
No. It's prior to Good Morning Vietnam, because that came out in 87. So
It
it's
wasn't
before-
Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
Yeah, so it's before Williams like made his Oscar run. He was still doing like mostly comedy films.
And this is after Mork and Mindy.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is well after Mork and Mindy.
Right.
That was like the 70s.
After Mork and Mindy, around the time of Popeye.
Mm-hmm.
I can't think of any movies he was in.
Popeye was like 81, 82.
Mhm.
Then he did The World According to Garp. He did the one where he's a Russian expatriate. I can't think of the name of that movie.
Also got Rick Moranis after Ghostbusters.
After Ghostbusters, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm stumped, man. What you got?
Club Paradise.
Holy shit! Yeah, I would have never gotten that one.
Paradise.
Yeah.
Never.
I
would have gotten
think
that
I
one.
need to look it up.
Yeah.
Wenn Sie diesen Sommer Urlaub machen, dann empfehlen wir Ihnen den Club Paradise.
Ich sag dir, das ist ist gebucht.
Schon die Anreise ist das halbe Vergnügen.
Ich hab's geschafft! Ich hab's geschafft!
Wir brauchen wohl neuen Piloten.
Und das ist Ihr Gastgeber Robin Williams.
Oh, Mann.
Ich bin Inseljack.
Von welchem Inselchen denn?
Den USA natürlich.
Mit Peter O'Toole, Rick Moranis, Jimmy Cliff, Twiggy, Adolf Caesar, Eugene Levy und Joanna Cassidy. Es erwarten Sie luxuriöse Bungalows.
Die Insekten werden wir vertreiben.
Ich scheine eine besondere Schwäche für mein Zimmer zu haben.
Die Landschaft ist nicht uneben.
Sie sagten, ihr seht aus wie typische Versager. Aber ich habe euch verteidigt. Was haben Sie gesagt? Ihr seid spitze.
Für sportliche Betätigung ist bestens gesorgt. Man verwirklicht sich selbst und entdeckt seine eigene kleine Welt.
Hilfe! Oh Gott, hilf mir!
kennt niemand.
Club Paradise. Eine einzige Idylle.
Limo-Time.
Eine Oase der Entspannung.
Komm ich noch zu meiner Dusche? Sagen Sie es mir ganz ehrlich.
Ich mach das gleich.
Es ist ein Urlaub, den Sie nicht vergessen werden. Auch wenn Sie das gern möchten.
I'll give you the synopsis.
Okay.
Injured while risking his life to save an angry German shepherd, Chicago firefighter Jack Monaker retires and moves to a small Caribbean island named St. Nicholas. There he is befriended by Ernest Reed, the owner of a rundown resort. Greedy developers scheming to wrest Reed's coveted beachfront property from him for non-payment of taxes. Jack comes to Ernest's rescue, and together they renovate and reopen the resort, catering to affluent Americans. The film follows the exploits of the proprietors, guests, and various colorful island I'm drunk. As they break into the new Club Paradise.
I don't think I've seen this.
I can honestly say I've never seen this movie.
Oh, it's a great movie. Twiggy goes around, no bra under their shirt. It's all.
Yeah.
But Rick Moranis.
Apparently, Rick
my
Moranis,
childhood days.
apparently, Rick Moranis, Eugene Levy, and Robin Williams go around shirtless a lot in this film too. I'm looking at photos from it.
Yes,
Yeah.
Rick Moranis
There's a
and
picture of Eugene Levy shirtless wearing a loincloth that I never want to see again.
and Rick Moranis and Eugene Levy are friends that came down to they're trying to get women and get high. They have a whole plot that's separate from the main plot.
I sincerely think Eugene Levy shaved his nipples because they are so pronounced through his hairy chest.
They are.
I was like, this is how you know it's the 80s, man. You got 3 actors in this film who were all fucking Sasquatch. Like Rick Moranis, Robin Williams, and Eugene Levy are hairy. You see like actors nowadays, man, they're smooth as a baby's ass.
Yeah.
Here's some trivia for this movie for you.
Yeah, please.
The film was originally intended to star Bill Murray and John Cleese.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, wow.
In the end, the roles were filled by Robin Williams and Peter O'Toole.
I was going to say, I assume John Cleese was Peter O'Toole. How do you get Peter O'Toole to do this?
Oh, he's great. Oh, my God, he's great in this movie.
He was drunk when he signed the contract.
He was like, I'm never going to win an Oscar. Fuck it. Go ahead. I have a movie to watch this weekend.
Yeah.
It's on the app. That's where I'll watch it.
That's probably where I'd have to find it too.
Yeah.
Oh, it's got a 5 out of 10 rating.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so forgotten. I've never even seen it.
Oh, it's actually Robin Williams isn't over zany in it. It's such one of the great lines from Robin Williams was, "That's the problem with the third world. I could never figure out what the other 2 worlds were."
Sounds like a Robin. That sounds like something he probably ad-libbed.
That sounds like a Yogi Berraism.
Yeah,
I'm sure he ad-libbed plenty in this movie.
So Harold Ramis directed it. Here's a little fun fact for you that I just found. One of the writers on the film is Harry Shearer, who is best known as a voice actor, particularly playing characters on The Simpsons.
Mm-hmm.
He's Ned Flanders, Principal Skinner, Kent Brockman.
Wasn't he also in This Is Spinal Tap?
He was in This Is Spinal Tap as well. Yeah, he was one of those like improv actors. He's in a lot of the Christopher Guest improv films too. Yeah, he was in Spinal Tap, all the Simpsons episodes, The Daily Show. Yeah, so he was one of the writers on the film.
Yes,
that's funny.
He was.
Not that it matters, but I did want to look at the IMDb ratings between our 3 movies. Leo, you won with 6.4.
So Explorers was, you said 6.4.
6.4.
6.4 out of 10, because a lot of people out there apparently reminisce about it fondly the way I did. Let's see. Yours was Club Paradise, Mike.
5 out of 10.
5 out of 10. So it's an even 5 out of 10. That's funny. So it's like people either hate it or love it. Like everybody's right down the middle on it. And then Space Camp.
5.7.
5.7. Man, I thought Space Camp would have had better than that, man. Like a 7 at least. 5.7 out of 10. No love for the 80s
no
kids fantasy films, man. We're early Robin Williams.
Yeah, I mean,
I do have to watch the Club Paradise now.
This was on HBO all the time when I was younger. So
yeah, that's funny, man. Like I definitely never seen that movie before, which is odd for me, who's seen fucking everything.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm gonna have to put that on my watch list.
Let's see.
Club Paradise. I have to rewatch Space Camp too.
Yeah. Okay. The budget for it was $15 million and only grossed $12 million in the U.S. and Canada.
Wow.
It lost.
And that's what it grossed worldwide, the same amount.
Wow. So Space Camp, Club Paradise. I'm like making a list here so I don't forget. Club Paradise. We gotta watch those films for my viewing pleasure. So yeah, I really I enjoyed this. This was fun. This was this is a good one. So I feel like this is something we can, like, you know, from time to time revisit, you know, films that time forgot, you know, not something we have to do all the time.
No.
So anyway, thank you everybody for joining us tonight for episode 52, Films That Time Forgot. Please don't forget to drop us a line at any of our social media platforms. If you're listening to us on Spotify, I'm going to put a trivia question on with the Spotify link. The trivia question will be like, what is your forgotten film? You know, answer the question. And we'll discuss it on the on the next episode. So I'm gonna. So thank you once again for joining us for episode 52, Films That Time Forgot. Don't forget to join us next week for episode 53. Last year we did a St. Patty's Day episode, since it is St. Patty's Day next week. But since we've already done that, we decided to go a little off the books and come up with a different topic. So next week is actors who played either God or Lucifer on film. And in the case of one actor out there, he played both God and Lucifer in the same film.
On a mission from God.
Mission from God. So if you would like to know who those people are, please tune in next week to episode 52. Thank you once again for joining us here at the crossroads between pickled and fermented. Gentlemen, how are your drinks this evening?
Very good.
They were very good. They are empty.
All three of us have sampled from the Mike Variety Pack. I have myself sampled 3 from the Mike Variety Pack. I'm feeling pretty happy right now. So once again, everybody, thank you for joining us. I'm Leo.
I'm Kevin.
I'm Mike.
We hope you enjoyed listening to the episode as much as we enjoyed recording it for you. Cheers, everybody.
Cheers.